The police of the department referred to the possible case of suicide presented yesterday in the sector of New Guinea.
Authorities found inside a house a 34-year-old man identified as Wilmer Espinosa, who apparently shot himself in the head with a firearm.
We regret to inform you that on June 13th, at approximately 7 p.m., a lifeless body was reported inside a house in the New Guinea neighborhood. Institutional capacities, the surveillance system, and the investigation department were directed to investigate the scene of the incident. We made contact with relatives and residents of the sector, and indeed a 34-year-old citizen who was corresponded by the name of Wilmer Crespo Espinosa and who apparently takes his life, is also found in the place a firearm.
This news agency will be attentive to the future investigation of this new fire in the department.
And the community of the municipality of Providence is concerned by the disappearance of a boy just 10 years old who has not been seen since Sunday night.
This is Nick Livingston, a boy from the Southwest Bay section who disappeared last night without any of his relatives knowing his whereabouts. The community and authorities are still looking for him.
Thing changed last night and said him can go sleep. Normally she not making lock the door because she pending on him during the night. But when she woke up, she saw this man and she rushed to the room door. The room door was locked from inside. So when one of the worker come where his friend to she here, she tell the man say the room locked from inside. So the man said, well, if you make them go round and see if the curtain hall where they can see if they inside. And then get around the window was wide open and the child wasn't in the room.
Despite the constant rain in the municipality, the authorities and community do not stop the search, but so far, without any answers.
I want to tell the community, say if they see him or if anybody know, say they nearby is somebody's house, they must please call us, inform us, maybe we can go and pick him up because we don't want this desperation because this is more than 12 hours now. And a child normally no steal all the amount of time and him no custom for the by place.
Family is asking the community to inform either them or the authorities of any information that may help in finding this 10-year-old boy.
So far this year, authorities have affected structures dedicated to micro-trafficking, achieving the confiscation of 70 kilograms of marijuana.
The National Police has developed for several months a plan to combat micro-trafficking in the department, which has resulted in the confiscation of more than 70 kilograms of marijuana for this year. While they have managed to capture 52 people for the crime of trafficking, manufacturing or possessing narcotics, fighting against micro-trafficking and criminal structures. The authorities reported that during the last week, 3 people were captured in flagrante delicto who were carrying marijuana-type plant substances. The first capture was made by means of a search warrant in the Morris Landing neighborhood, and 2 others were made in the St. Louis sector against 2 men who were found in possession of a package of vegetable substance by its smell and texture is similar to marijuana with an approximate weight of 3 kilograms. They also reported the confiscation and capture at the airport in Providence of a 33-year-old man who was trying to bring in about 14 kilograms of a substance with characteristics similar to cocaine hydrochloride means of a parcel. In recent days, the authorities also achieved other arrests for different crimes, such as the intervention made in the neighborhood of the Cliff, achieving the capture of a 21-year-old man who, at the time of practicing a search of persons, is found in the waistband of the pants a revolver-type firearm with 6 cartridges. The citizen has a record for threats, manufacture, carrying, or possession of a firearm, ammunition, part or accessory, and personal injury. Through search and raid activities, a warrant was issued for the arrest of a man for the crime of violent carnal access, noting that these citizens already had a record for the same crime, as well as for failure to provide food and for domestic violence. And in the Gulf sector, a 30-year-old man was captured for the crime of domestic violence, who was captured after he physically and verbally assaulted his partner, causing wounds and bruises to her face. The revolver was a pistol which had a loaded cartridge. He used it to assault his partner.
If you are a businessman or entrepreneur and you're interested in exporting your products or services, this information is of your interest. Come back to the Future Expo, come back to the Chamber of Commerce. Here is all the information about this initiative.
Future Expo is a program led by ProColombia and supported by the Chamber of Commerce, which seeks to empower and encourage entrepreneurs to become more exporters on the road to internationalization, providing them with advice to guide them so that their companies can be more productive.
This activity will take place on June 16th at the Chamber of Commerce facilities on the 4th floor of the Alejandro Rankin Room from 8 a.m. to 12 noon.
We will have special guests such as the ICA, the Superintendents of Industry and Commerce, the BAS will be there. We will also have an expo star, which is a car exporter who will be sharing their experience on how to export. And likewise, the INVI will be participating.
The Chamber of Commerce makes the invitation to all those businessmen and entrepreneurs interested in knowing how the export process works, not only at a national level, but also at an international level.
And through special communication, the Institute of Hydrology, Meteorology and Environmental Studies, IDEAM, reports that it is monitoring the atmospheric condition in this area of the Caribbean Sea.
Around midday, IDEAM issued special communique 41 informing that they are monitoring the Western Caribbean Sea due to weather conditions in that area. According to the Institute, there is 0% probability for a cyclonic formation in the next 48 hours, but a 30% probability for a cyclonic formation in the next 5 days. In the next 72 hours, cloudy conditions are expected with the probability of showers varying in intensity, some accompanied by electrical activity and winds. Teleislas News spoke with the port captain about the marine weather condition, who said the following about the high and low pressure system.
The entire weekend, there was a lot of rains, which is expected to continue throughout the month of June and to intensify at least during the next 48 hours, according to what was forecasted. It is expected additionally that there will be winds between 12 and 25 knots and a wave height between 2 and 3.2 meters. Therefore, it is recommended to take extreme security measures, especially those boats that intend to go out to do their regular activities in the area.
The National Hurricane Center in Florida confirms that a tropical depression could form later this week if the system remains over the water. The disturbance is expected to move northwestward near to the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras during that time. The community is asked to be attentive to the reports by the Center for Oceanographic Research and the IDEAM. Rainfall during this week is expected to range from heavy to moderate.
Desde agosto de 2018, más de 4,1 billones en créditos desembolsó el Fondo Nacional del Ahorro. Así, 53.217 familias cumplen el sueño de tener vivienda propia.
And there are 4 days left for the beginning of the electoral process throughout the country. For this reason, the national government, as well as other entities, are already issuing measures to guarantee the security of the elections. For the archipelago of San Andres, this sectional of electoral guarantees issued regulations for the media.
Through this communique, the Sectional Court of Electoral Guarantees and Surveillance of the Archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina, constituted on the occasion of the electoral process for the presidency of the Republic to be held on June 19, 2022. It is hereby permitted to inform the providers of radio broadcasting services, television spaces, regional and local television of the archipelago, the operators of the community television service, and other media of this territory that in accordance with the provisions of Decree 979 of June 10, 2022, through which the Ministry of the Interior issued rules for the preservation of public order during the period of presidential election process. It is prohibited to disseminate political and electoral propaganda, as well as to conduct or publish surveys, polls, or electoral projections. This in order to ensure that the election process takes place in an efficient, transparent, and democratic manner. Likewise, the National Electoral Council makes available its electronic mail to receive complaints related to the elections, which is Tribunal San Andres, CNE 2022@gmail.com.
Now it's time for Sport News with Victor Fusapa.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island. The Centro team won their first game of the baseball finals. The Centro started on the right foot with the young pitcher Sebastian Archibald, who prevailed over veteran Ovidio Williams. The players from Centro were better at the bat since they drove 9 runs over 4 to the San Luis team. Those led by David May made several mistakes that were taking advantage of the Central team led by strategist Ricardo Kyok Davis. We talked with the president of the Baseball League, Antonio de Armas, who told us.
What we are playing is the playoff of the tournament for the category Sub-22. The player below 22 years. This playoff is they are participating San Luis, which is managed by David May, and Centro, which is managed by Ricardo Davis. They are playing a two out of three to define the champ. After this, we will be participating in a next tournament organized by the federation, which is Torneo de Verano, which we are having the participation of professional players.
The Centro team is one game away from being crowned champion of the Under-22 tournament. The next game will be held on Saturday, June the 18th at the Wellingworth May Baseball Stadium. And on the other side, a Maracanã's football tournament that seeks to entertain veterans players and their family members. This Maracanã's tournament continues to be fun and entertaining activity for adults, veterans, and children who take advantage of this space to recreate and enjoy with soccer along their family. We talked with the organizer of the event, Mara Lambis, who told us how the championship is going.
Our championship is going very well. We are on the 3rd day of the championship, of which there are 16. Very soon we will be finishing the first round, which is being headed by the team, second the Familia team, and third El Dorado team. So far, our championship has been developed in peace and friendship, since fathers, mothers, children, they come to enjoy. Everything has been very fun for us because it is a tournament that is generally transmitted and played in peace. There is no inconvenience. We are all as one family. We do it as a family, and that is what I like about our championship. And especially more this year because we have decided to become one family.
According to Xiomara Lambis, they will continue to work with these tournaments at the Maracanã, seeking to continue offering a space for recreation for families. This is all in sports for the moment. I am Victor Fusalba, Teleislas News.